Dear Lord, please let the words that flow from me be in your spirit. Amen. Okay, everyone, welcome to Thursday. Welcome to Friday Eve. We are one day away from the final day before the weekend. There is a phrase out there where people say, like, you have 4 Mondays and 1 Friday, so technically there's only 2 days in the week. I don't really buy into that, or frame it that way. I used to frame it as a way that, in my early 20s, I would say Thursday is the most pointless day in the work week, because Monday is the start of the day, or the start of the week, rather, and it's the worst day. Tuesday, well, second to worst day, but it's the start. Tuesday is a great day because you're no longer on Monday. The next day is Wednesday, which is hump day, and you're a day closer to the end of the week. Wednesday is another great day because you're halfway through and you're over the hump, as they say, to get to the end of the work week. And then I hated Thursdays. I was like, because if you just eliminated Thursday from the work week, it would already be Friday. So that's how I used to frame it in my mind. I was like 2018, I started using the phrase Friday Eve, and I kind of restructured it as a way to make it a positive thing, as in, oh hey, tomorrow's Friday, heck yeah. So that's how I fixed that. And then also, I said this in a previous video, I have started randomly loving Mondays, and that's because it's just the balance aspect. I'm a big proponent of balance in all things in your life, and I know what I'm like if I don't have a schedule or any structure. So with that, it literally is like the balance to the chaos that is the weekend. But if, I didn't have if a 40-hour work week wasn't a standard thing, I probably wouldn't need to relax so hard or feel the need to like cram so much of an activity in such a short time frame. But I digress, because at the core of everything and how I think about it, and my progression throughout life, I've come to realize that every single day is a blessing. Every breath I take, every experience I have, no matter how negative, there's always something to learn from any situation that you are in. And from the spiritual aspect of it, a lot of just blanket spiritualism believes in reincarnation and is the fact that your soul is eternal, and we are solely on this earth in these physical incarnations to learn. And they say that we've gone through every stage of creation, from being atoms to being a rock. Like, apparently rocks have consciousness, and you go through this repeatedly until you decide to become a human. Now, you don't have to decide to become a human, but since we are pieces of God that are trying to get back to God, this is an aspect of learning, and that's why everything is so chaotic here. It's just very dense, and it got warped in every aspect of religion or anything. This place got warped. It got tainted in a way that was not intended, and we are on the process of cycling through and just learning all these lessons. And unfortunately, we got caught in a karma trap. That's what spiritualism says. Christianity and the Bible makes it seem easier and more streamlined. Now, I don't think the Bible says gives any sort of credence or case to the act of reincarnation. In fact, there's either heaven or hell at the road you're on, and depending on whether you're reading the Old Testament or the New Testament, you either go to Abraham's bosom, or there's some sort of just holding place before you initially go to the final judgment, essentially, is how I understand it. And I don't get hung up on that. I'm a guy that finds the most peace when things are simple. And what spiritualism, now, when I was big into spiritualism, I was really frustrated about this physical incarnation, and I found that doing the life review and seeing every word and action I speak and do from everyone else's perspective, being forced to live that in everyone that I've hurt throughout my years, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I became hyper aware of that, because that just sounds like a very horrible experience to see my actions cause so much damage. And that actually sparked within me a desire to reach out to like prior exes, or anyone that I unintentionally hurt throughout my years of that chaotic adolescence, right? We all know that the high school years are quite chaotic and a wild ride, so to speak, and we're just so full of emotion, and we don't have a very great sense of morality in some cases, and that's not strictly 100% one-to-one for humans. As I said, we all have our own experiences, but from a simplistic standard point of view, those years of our lives are the most chaotic, based on the changes that are going on energetically and our lack of experience being adults in the real world and not having a clear grasp on the ramifications of our actions. So I sought to make amends with a lot of those people, and I've given it quite a bit of thought as to who to reach out to, because as I say, accountability is a huge thing, and you have to be accountable for your actions and your words, but also was the other person being fair to you? What were some of the actions that led to your reaction, right? So you take that heavily into account, figure out why you did what you did, why you feel the way you feel, and go from there. So yes, every day is a blessing. I've sought to reach out to these people to make amends because of the fact that the blanket spiritualism, getting the life review, I found that was a very motivating factor in becoming hyper aware of who I am currently and what I put out there. And then I've talked about this many times before, my trigger to switch from blanket spirituality to focus solely on Jesus and follow him is one that I've documented before. And it was through that, I touched a little bit on it yesterday, but going through that whole experience has been eye-opening. And what I found is that both through my connection to Jesus Christ and following his teachings and learning a little bit from what I had from spirituality, is they say a lot of the same things, in that no matter what it is, whether it's heaven or hell, or whether it's reincarnation and total peace, connected to the one God, whatever it is, what matters the most is right now, your current moment, and how you choose to live in it. What matters right now is what you do with your day-to-day, what you do with your life, what you say to people, how you treat them. Are you someone who feels like you are owed something because you've gone through so much in your life, and you make your existence the burden of other people? Or are you someone who just acknowledges that we are all going through our own struggles, because no one has the exact same one-to-one experience in this place, and because of that, we're just trying to struggle to make it. And because you understand that you don't want to be a burden on someone else, so you try your hardest to be uplifting and to come at people from a calm point of view. Guess what camp I fall into? Okay. It took me a long time to get here, because I remember when I was in high school and going through those chaotic years, I was definitely a very, what I would say, dogmatic. I was a majorly judgmental Christian. I would openly call women sluts or whores if they acted in any way out of pocket, if they acted that way. So it's just one of those things where I sit there, and I would never do that now. I would acknowledge that, hey, that person's going through something, and I had my own sexual extravaganza when I was young, and all I can say about that, that was a very dark time in my life. And at the end of that road, what I found was just a black, empty hole that just did not fulfill me in any way, and it really just killed it was hardening my heart towards everything. And that's when I decided that I cannot look for happiness in a partner. I cannot look for happiness externally. I have to fix whatever is inside me to be able to find true happiness in this existence. And that is when I went for it and just decided that that's it, I'm single until I'm not. And then something traumatic happened, and I decided maybe I should give dating a chance. And then my friend hooked me up with her friend, and unexpectedly, no one thought it would go as far as it did, but now she's my wife. So, not that you probably will ever watch this, but I love you, babe. Thank you for reviving me. Thank you for being my hero, and for making me believe that true love actually exists. And it does, But getting back to the main topic, I am so thankful for every experience I've ever had, and that's how I know that I am healed, that my connection is real to God, to Spirit, to Source. It is 100% real, because it healed me. Me going through this journey, me being introspective, understanding, really having that accountability factor, really embodying that really made me, that strengthened my tie. And then you go through and read a lot of the Bible, and a lot of what I just naturally did and came to the conclusions of are in there. And so I think what it gets down to is a lot of people debate. They love to debate. Debating is painful for me. I much rather have a very calm civil discussion without the snarkiness and the jabs at each other. So a lot of people debate this. Is it works-based salvation? Is it your actions that save you, or is it the sacrifice of Jesus Christ that saves you? Now, Romans 10 says that so long as you believe it and you say that Jesus is Lord and you believe his sacrifice, you're saved. And then there's a lot of people that are like, well, you can't just go around, say you're saved, continue hurting people and think you're going to live forever. And that's me. I literally said in yesterday's video that anyone that would murder someone in the name of their God is not a teacher that you want to follow, is not a person that you want to follow, and that's certainly not a God you'd want to follow. So that's kind of the argument there. If Jesus Christ is Lord and he wants you, and he's not wanting, and it literally says that thou shalt not murder, that is in the 10 Commandments, you've broken one of the 10 Commandments there, but then you have a God that is openly calling people to murder. That in itself is contradictory in that sense. So that's why I say what I say about some of the Old Testament stuff. But getting back to what we were talking about in works-based salvation versus salvation through faith, it is the faith that saves you. But they also say it is the mark of salvation that your actions, the actions are a testament and a proof of your salvation. So it almost sounds like it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but the way that I've lived my life, have experienced what I have experienced, and now make my decisions based on those experiences and seeing how it aligns with the Bible, I can say with 100% honesty that is true. That it is a little bit of both. It, just like with a lot of things in life, a lot of people speak a bunch of half-truths, and so you get the story from two different people, and then you investigate and you find that the whole truth is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. It is the yin and the yang, the bad and the good and the bad. That's what it is. Balance. It is balance. So no, we're not perfect. We can't even expect to even come close to perfect. We've all messed up. Just come to God as you are, and God will take care of you. So long as you mean it and you are trying. Just try to be a little bit better than you were the day before. Learn the lesson that is in your strife. Don't ask, why are you doing this to me? Ask, what can I learn from what I'm going through? And when you do that, when you change that perspective, everything just kind of opens up. Because once you acknowledge that you are a soul or a spirit inside a meat costume, as I will call it, living this physical existence, and that life is eternal after this, then the pressure is kind of off, because you kind of just learn to know that it will be okay. This is not all there is. And I get really frustrated when talking to atheists, because they are some of the most depressed people I've ever met. They are some of the most negative people I ever met. They really believe that we are just a bunch of randomized stuff having this existence that spawned from nothing, and that we came from nothing, will return to nothing, and everything is meaningless. That is so depressing. I don't know why you would go through that and then want to project that onto others. And I've had plenty of atheists ask me how I'm so happy all the time, and how I'm so balanced and emotionally balanced, and how, I do these things. And I just simply say, look, even from a scientific perspective, you say energy cannot be created or destroyed, it just exists. And from that scientific, whatever you want to call it, that proves it right there. It's always existed. It is God. It's an intelligence. And we're just living in this world. And, a lot of people say a lot of things. A lot of people are contradictive. I certainly can be contradictive from one video to the next sometimes. And it's a fair point to point that out. Not that anyone has. I'm not that popular on YouTube. But, if anyone ever would, I'd say you're right. We all operate on our own biases, and we all will contradict ourselves at least once in our lifetime. If you're not, then you gotta be something special. You gotta be absolutely something special. But when you change things that way, switch your perspective. I say it all the time. Change what's in here, change what's out there. When you fix what's internal, your external reality will shift. As the spiritualists would say. But yes, everything in life you can learn from. And also, every aspect, everything you've been through has led to your current iteration. And your current iteration, no matter how ugly it can be, there are some beautiful aspects to it. And you should really look at your beautiful aspects and appreciate those beautiful aspects, and let yourself know that you are loved. And then also, part of love is being tough on yourself. So the balance part of that is to look at yourself from an honest review and say, from an honest point of view, and say, yes, I am beautiful, I am unique, these are all my strengths, what are my weaknesses, where can I improve? And when you start living from that aspect and approaching people with humility and as equals, and letting them know that, like, no, I'm not being condescending when I say this to you, or not meaning to be. Maybe it's communication you need to fix, or what have you. But when I have found that when I have started approaching people from a very humble, neutral stance, as I've said that I do now in yesterday's video, but as I do that, I have found that the respect that I get from people is infinitely more than if I come across as a know-it-all and, give snide jabs and belittle them. That's not going to make anyone want to respect you. So, life is beautiful, number one. Number 2, you learn everything that you know right now from your experiences in this existence. This existence is the most important part of your life. Your spirit's journey, your soul's journey, whatever you believe, whatever you want to say, or however you believe life works, no matter what, right now is what matters the most, because it's all that we're promised. It could end literally at any second. I might not even live to upload this. It'd be crazy if that happened, but it is always a possibility. And then just understand that while you are flawed, you are beautiful, and it is the design of God, of that ever-existing presence that will go on for infinity, and we are destined to be a part of it. Once more, that is what the purpose of this life is. And with that, just let that stress go. Let that petty stress go. And learn from this and move on. That's all we can do, is keep moving forward. And with that, guys, that's all I really have for today. I just want to say that you're all beautiful, and there's something to be learned in every single day of our lives. And, just shift your mind and you can live your dreams. Either way, guys, my name is Ken, aka The Phoenix, and I will see you tomorrow.